Trump's done a lot of bad. And with that being said, I think that this is one of the worst things that he's done as president. It has to be up there with at least top 15. I'm going to say that number 15, this right here. This is by far one of the worst things I've ever seen from a high-ranking official in public office in the United States in a long time. And that's saying a lot, because we've been around the block, okay? Even someone as young as me, I've seen a lot of terrible things, and this is by far one of the worst. We all know the Minneapolis riots and the riots that have sprouted out across the nation since then. We all understand that. Whether you're with or against the riots, I don't know. I don't really care. I have my own thoughts on that, and there's content out there of me expressing my thoughts. But right now, I want to talk about this. And this is finally Twitter stepping up and doing what's right, and at least making a midline effort to try to mitigate some of the horrible things that Trump uses his Twitter platform to signal boost. This tweet violated the Twitter rules about glorifying violence. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain accessible. What could Trump have said that was so terrible that it needed to be hidden? Well, let's take a look, because we can view it right here. Now, mind you, this is about the Minneapolis riots. These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to the governor, Tim Walz, and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, so let's break this down. Okay, first things first. Before I get to the worst parts about this tweet, Trump definitely didn't give a single shit about George Floyd. 100%. National Guard was already called in for assistance by Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. Wait, is it Minnesota? It's Minneapolis, right? Oh shoot. Wait, I don't know. Wait, I forgot. Wait a second. Wait. It is Minnesota. Let's go, boys. Listen, I'm really bad when it comes to these cities, okay? Shit, oh fuck, oh gosh. Walz already called upon the National Guard to help out with the riots. So once again, this is Trump giving himself a pat on the back for something that was already in the works. So that's just in character. We know he's gonna do that. Very easy. These thugs, very a not very controversial word if used in many other contexts, but we know Trump loves to watch Fox News. And it's very interesting if we look at the context every time the word thug is used on Fox News. It's really interesting how it seems like the only time they call people thugs is when they're of a certain skin tone. I'm not going to talk about which skin tone it is. It could be any. There's so many out there. But it's usually one where they usually call them thugs. We're going to skim over that for a second. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. Now, I don't want to mince words at all. I don't want this to be lost in translation at all, but this is Donald Trump, President of the United States, one of the most arguably powerful human beings ever, as president, condoning the death, condoning the killing of protesters and rioters alike, right? Because we've already seen what the police are doing to people who are peacefully protesting. We've already seen what people are doing to people who aren't even in the police's way. We recently watched a video of a woman listening to the police, clearing out. The police come up behind her and then mace her while she's walking away, while she's leaving. This is and with this sort of context, with the police saying, with the president saying When the looting starts, the shooting starts. After invoking the military, I don't know about you, but that's not chill to me. I think this is inexcusable. There's no way that this could in any way, shape, or form be justifiable. This was a statement so bad that even Trump saw that it was bad after he woke up the next day. So we can see here. When the looting starts, the shooting starts, Trump had written in a tweet that was quickly flagged by Twitter as violating rules against glorifying violence. Trump later said his comments had been misconstrued. Frankly, it means there's looting, people are going to get shot and die. That's what he said. Listen, okay, Trump, for a lot of things he says, likes to double, triple, and quadruple down. This was a statement so bad, one of the very few statements that Trump even himself realized was so bad that he had to walk back. That's how bad this is. Trump is an absolute, full honk, red nose, rainbow hair clown. You're very right. That is really bad. But we're gonna wrap this. We're gonna bring this all the way back around. We're gonna bring this all the way back around to Joseph R. Biden. Now here we hate Biden. We do not like Biden. Biden's actually trashed here. He's terrible. I wouldn't want him to be president, but he's running against Trump. So what are you gonna do, right? But honestly, I think Biden didn't have that bad of a reaction to this. It could have been way worse. Enough, Biden wrote, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, in a tweet thread responding to a Twitter post from Trump. He called Floyd's death an act of brutality that was just the latest in a series of unjust stemmings of racism against black people, which Trump said was the original sin of the United States, which still stains the nation. That's a pretty good take. Listen, let's be honest. I don't talk too much about race issues, but that was a pretty good take on Biden's part. Understanding that systemic racism still affects the world. That's more than what Trump can cobble together in a single tweet that he makes at 3 a.m. This is a national crisis, and we need real leadership now, Biden said. We need justice for George Floyd. We need real police reform. And that's what I think is the most important part to take from Biden's response to this, is that he acknowledges that the real problem here is the police reform. Riots, I don't think are good. You shouldn't want riots. But the thing is that happy societies don't riot. Happy societies don't burn down these buildings. Happy societies don't go on these sorts of tears through cities unless, your team just won at a football game. But besides that, happy societies don't. These riots, whether you're for them or against them, stem from a real, tangible problem that we have in our country. And you can quash as many riots as you want, but if you don't fix the underlying problems that they stem from, they're like just like a weed, and they grow right back. So at least for all of the problems that we have with Biden, that he can even begin to understand that the root of this problem is the fact that our police are just trash. No standardized training, let off the hook. And I'd love to see some policy come down, or to read some policy from Biden that lets us know that he can actually understand these problems and have some way to address them. But as the time being, I don't think that this is just another mark for understanding that Trump, while not being the root of the problems in the U.S., are such a horrible leader, such a horrible signal booster, and will do so much harm with the platform that he's given, that it's not ethical to leave him there. It's not ethical to let him continue to be president with the way things are going now. And mind you, this is still in his first presidency. He still has to temper himself so he can win re-election. Can you even imagine the things he'd say, the things he'd do, the things he'd push for, if he knows that won't be over his head, because he's in for another 4 years and he won't have to worry about re-election, and he won't have to be worried about being held accountable at all? This is just a sneak peek into what he's capable of. And I think it's important to understand that and not let that happen.